I am your granny master, I guess, for this evening. I'm Ryan Mossbarger. You know me from Dice Populi. You might also know me as Run DMG on about a million different social media channels that I spend too much time on. We are playing Brindlewood Bay, which is powered by the apocalypse, but is one of my favorite rules light mystery games. I think there is so much that can be stolen from this and put into so many different games. And my favorite thing about it is that the mystery is not in stone. I don't know who the killer is. We're all going to figure out who the killer is together. You are going to come up with clues. And at the end of it, there's a final move where basically you all try to like link all of the various clues together. Like the more clues you can loop into it that you found, the more pluses you get to your die, and then you roll for it. It's just a really fun game. It's very rules light. And if you've never played anything other than Dungeons and Dragons, I think this is a great game to start with because it's extremely rules light and it's very unintimidating. If you've ever seen an episode of Murder, She Wrote, you've basically seen somebody play this game. It's very fun, very simple. Full transparency, no idea how many episodes we're going to get out of this. We're aiming for like 45-minute episodes. And then one of my favorite things about it is that they have a get starting guide that is actually really, really good. And it goes through making a character, talking about themes, safety tools, all that stuff. So we're actually going to go through that together.
Hey everybody, my name is VJ Harris, and perhaps sometime in the future it'll all... Wow. Sorry. I'm sorry. I gotta redo that.
Really good. Scrap it.
Yep. Hey everybody, my name is VJ Harris, and perhaps sometime in the future it'll also be Toaster. We'll see. My pronouns are they, them, he, him, and something funny. I've only had one person do something funny for me, so if you got something, I'd love to hear it. I am a professional TTRPG designer, mostly for 5e, but I have some non-5e stuff out there, some more things coming your way. I don't know when, but think queer, miserable cowboys and girls. It's gonna be excellent.
Beautiful.
But something I can tell you about that is going to be here either shortly after this is released or during this time is I'm picking back up my old podcast, VJ Talks, with a bent more towards the academic side. I've gotten a couple of like papers around like gaming and TTRPGs that I'm going to be reading and dissecting, and if I can, getting the authors in to talk about it as well. And I'm a professional DM. I do that to make a living. I'm in this space full time, and I'm very excited to be here.
Very excited to have you, VJ.
Yeah, I'll take the next one. Hi, I'm
Just
Taeemul.
awkwardly stare at each other.
Hi, I'm Taeemul. Most people call me Chowder. You'd primarily know me for being on Dice Populi with our lovely host here. I also like to draw. And I'm making a comic, but it's far from time to give any details about that. So beyond that, I'm just a dude.
Just a dude. All right, love it. All right, who's next?
I can go next. Hi, I'm Calamity. My pronouns are she, they. You can find me all over the internet as Hey Calamity, 3 Y's at the end. I do a bunch of different stuff, from dramaturgy to performance to production in the actual play space. I also help run a little group called Telltale Hearts that likes to promote and celebrate and create diverse content in this space. I'm also part of a couple of projects. Philly by Night, I am in some vignettes over there as Annalie, the Choreador Primogen. I am part of Castleton, which has been very fun, but you can also catch me streaming on Saturday afternoons, running around in probably Final Fantasy XIV.
Nice, so happy to have you.
Oh, I guess that's my turn.
Yep.
It's me. Hello. Hey, y'all. My name is Danny. My pronouns are he, him. You can find me all over the internet at Brutal Dan. That's BR00TALDAN. I also write a Substack called Digital Thickness, where I talk about digital marketing, e-commerce, community building, and social media trends, as well as a little bit of pop culture and some nerdy game things from a queer perspective. If this is coming out around, let's say, August or September, you should be able to see me on Tabletop Tempest. That is a 10-episode series where everybody at the table are immigrants or children of immigrants, and we tell really cool stories around Brazilian folklore. And I think the crowdfunding for Jiangshi Blood in the Banquet Hall 2nd edition is going to be out, if it's not out yet, and I'm one of the guest writers on there, so feel free to check that out as well.
I am on the waiting list for that backer kit. I missed out getting it the first time. Very excited to try and get it on the second time. Thank you so much for being here. Step 1 is read the text. Y'all don't have to worry about that. Already read the text. Step 2, don't need to gather our work materials. Step 3, already gathered all of y'all, all of my participants. We've already introduced ourselves, so we're already past step 4. We all know each other's pronouns. We all know each other's names, a general vibe. Step 5 is CATS. CATS is an acronym for concept, aim, tone, and subject matter. So, concept of Brindlewood Bay is it's a role-playing game about a group of elderly women, members of the local Murder Mavens Mystery Book Club, who frequently find themselves investigating and solving actual murder mysteries. They become increasingly aware that there are supernatural forces that connect the cases they're working on, in particular, a cult dedicated to a dark, monstrous aspect of the goddess Persephone will come to vex them. We don't really got to worry about that. The dark subtext really comes into like more campaign play. It's really hard to kind of like, it's a slow burn. You don't like start immediately fighting like Cthulhu-esque monsters in like a bake sale. So that comes in as time progresses. The game is directly inspired by the television show Murder, She Wrote, but also takes inspiration from a bunch of different sources like cosmic horror, mystery books, and a lot of cozy crime dramas and American TV shows from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. The aim of this is for the characters in the story to keep their community safe by investigating the murders taking place there. Our aim as players is to learn more about these characters as well as to paint a vivid picture of the town of Brindlewood Bay, a responsibility that we all share. It's not just my world, it's everybody's world. The aims of today's sessions are to create and introduce our characters, learn the basics of how the game works in play, and then we're going to have a little adventure in Brindlewood Bay. The tone of this game bounces between the cozy and creepy. Most of the time will be fairly lighthearted, but occasionally will get very dark and very menacing very quickly. Some kitschy, campy humor is permissible here and very much in keeping with the game's inspirations, but above all, your characters should be taking everything they do very seriously, even if we're having a bit of a laugh behind the scenes. Subject matter. Murder of all varieties is on the table. There's a lot of creative ways that people get killed in some of these stories. Threats to animals, children, ritual magic, human sacrifice, and other dark subject matter. We're not going to get like too dark. This is like an intro game. Come up in this game from time to time. We'll talk about safety tools in a moment. But in the interest of setting expectations right now, you should know that while the game is generally lighthearted, there are possibilities of intense subject matter. Now we're going to character creation. Y'all take some time, figure out player name. That's like whatever you want your player name to be. You have your character name, you have your pronouns, but like for style, it's a drop down. The only thing that's going to be like a lot of thinking probably is that you have Maven moves, which are basically your granny superpower. So you might want to like weigh against those a little bit, like which one you want. It's okay if people have multiple, like if you only get one, but if there's overlap, that's fine. It's just maybe better if people don't share power. That's not a big deal if you do. You find a cozy activity. Now, no two Mavens can have the same cozy activity, and usually cozy activities like knitting or painting. It's something that your granny / Maven does in the background that brings them joy and comfort. And then you have 1 point that you can assign to any one of your abilities. And then we're going to collectively come up with the items in your cozy little place, which are give you little advantages in play. I do have a question, Danny. Are you bringing back your character from Joko?
I was thinking about it. I still have that character sheet from that actually somewhere. But I do have a question about the style. That's just more like flavor text feels. Very
much flavor text. I always choose Dorothy Zabornak because I love Dorothy from Golden Girls. It's just your basic, like what people can expect you to be wearing, you know, or just like general vibe. It's all flavor.
Where would we learn more about the different kinds of styles? Because
you can Google some of them. Like Dorothy Zabornak is like Dorothy from Golden Girls. They have no real benefit other than your general style. So if you're unaware of the person, you may or may not be interested in them. So like Hippy Dippy is that you're just wearing a lot of like ponchos. Maybe you're stuck in the 70s. Office hours, you're always wearing like semi-formal clothing. Speed walking is always in, you know, like light workout gear. Up in pumps means you're always like dressed up. Blouse barn, lots of blouses. Dorothy Zabornak is you're wearing like business forward clothing of the 80s, and you are like a lot of shoulder pads, a lot of like hard lines in your wardrobe. You're wearing a lot of like business suit type stuff.
I just looked it up. Love the outfits. Homegirl from what's it called? Parent Trap. Like has a picture in there. I was like, oh yeah, that's the vibe. Not the attitude, but that's the vibe.
Yes. Okay, that makes so much sense.
Are we okay house ruling stuff? Like, because can we make up our own style, or
of
you
course, 100%. If you just want to be like, oh, wears smocks, like painting smocks all the time, or if you have a specific person from like a movie or TV show that you're trying to emulate, that also works. Very much to help you with like your conception of the character. There's no like mechanical anything to it.
Are all of our characters just not sensitive? Is that a thing for?
Yeah, well, sensitivity is a weird one. So it's like occult sensitivity. How in tuned to dark conspiracy and like magic, I guess, for a lack of a better word, you are. You can put a point into it, but like that sort of thing kind of gets more heavy into like the later end of a campaign. But for like a one shot, it's probably not going to really come up that much. And then in another game I had, it's completely up to, if you want to, this is not in the book. I don't even know if it's like legal, but who's going to catch me? If you want to subtract 1 point from another, say you don't want to be reasonable, you can subtract reason and add it to another one. So you get 1 point to put anywhere, and then you can move a point if you wish. It's really hard to power game in this. We're talking about like just minute increases. So if you really want to like do it, you can. And then when everybody has all the basics set up and then have applied your points in whichever way you want, we will move on to the next thing, which I believe is setting up the cozy space. Oh, we're going to do some character creation questions, and then we'll move to cozy stuff.
Okay, are we doing... So then we should do... We got to pick our Maven moves before we...
Yes. Oh, sorry.
Get to the cozy stuff. Okay.
And pick your Maven move. Some of them are more useful than others. Did you have something to say, Calamity?
You pick just one to start, right?
Just one. Cool. Some of them are more useful than others. Some of them are more like long-term campaign oriented. And some of them are like, I think like Fox Molder, I probably wouldn't use. I think that has something to do with like the ongoing conspiracy. It's probably not going to be super useful in this. Fun thing about all of the Maven moves, they're named after men in 80s, 90s, and 70s, in 80s, 90s, 70s sitcoms, because the author thought it would be funny to use them as props instead of women as props, as they are often used in many of these shows, which I thought was very funny. It might be helpful to know something about the general mechanics before we get into like Maven moves. How this game boils down is that there's a couple of different moves they can do. Day moves and night moves are functionally identical in how they work. It's basically anything that's not interfering. It's anything that's not going to gather you a clue. It might be reactive. Say somebody like pushes a bookshelf over on you. I'll be like, hey, do a day move. Or if you're trying to push a bookshelf over somebody, it's like, that's a day move. Night move, exactly the same, except the stakes are much higher. The chances of actual death are very much present. So for a day move, you basically kind of say like what you fear will happen when if you were to not be successful in this action. And then depending on if you fail, it just kind of, I'm going to either riff on what you said or do it exactly as you say it, depending on like the circumstance. If you succeed, good things happen. Day move, you tell me what you fear doing this action, and then I tell you how it's going to be worse, and then you roll. And it's usually going to be like, you've become like the target of the killer. The killer is right there and they've got a knife and they're going to get you XYZ. It's going to be something bad. And then there is a meddling move, which is basically anything that can gather a clue. If you're talking to the widow and trying to console them to get some information, meddling. If you're going through a bunch of boxes of files, meddling. If you're trying to kind of like maybe go through somebody's pocket, steal something out of them, it's probably going to be a meddling move. There is a cozy move, which is like a recovery thing. If you get ailments or conditions, which is like you get conditions pretty easily. If you like get a mixed success or you fail, it's like, oh, you sprained your ankle or you got scared or whatever. Cozy moves are a way to remove that. There is the sensitivity move. It's called the occult move, but the chances of that coming up hopefully are very slim. If y'all get into the dark secrets of the occult, we might have gotten very off course. And then there is a Gold Crown Mysteries move, which is once per mystery. So at one point in this, you can basically say, hey, any one of you don't necessarily have to agree, but it might be good to talk it out first, is that when a Maven says, quote, this reminds me of what happened to Amanda Delacourt. Amanda Delacourt is the protagonist of the Golden Crown Mystery Series, which is the Murder Maven's favorite book series that they like. It's like their Bible. And basically you can describe how it's similar. You basically have to come up with the situation in the book and how it's similar. And you also have to come up with the name of the book. But basically it gives you an ultra crit. It's like if you just want to 100% succeed on something, you can use the Gold Crown Mysteries move. At the end of the game, there's something called a theorize move, which is basically all of y'all putting it together. And it can be you as characters talking it out, but it's actually you as players talking it out, trying to link together all these clues. Crowns come in. You might see some of that mentioned in the Maven moves. Putting on a crown, you have two sources of crowns. You have the Crown of the Void and Crown of the Queen. Crown of the Queen is you getting in touch with your elderly femininity. It might be moments that you think about, nice moments from your life, a tender moment with your husband or lover or a partner. It could be a little moment with your kids that are maybe no longer around. And you can put on a crown and you move whatever you got. So say you got a failure, you move it up to a mixed success. If you got a mixed success, you move it up to a success. If you had a success, you can move it up to like a crit, basically, a 12 plus. And you can basically, each time you fill it up, they are one-time use. There are some Maven moves that you can refresh those, but they're one-time use. If you run out of the Queen of the Crown, you have to start filling out the Crown of the Void. And Crown of the Void is like, you are getting into some hardy, like, stuff is messing with your mind. You've peered too much into the void. And like, when you run out of Void crowns, you're gone. Like, you either forcibly retired or you may die, that sort of thing. It is a hard out for your Maven. But this is a one shot. You have tons of crowns. You really only have to accept failure if you think it's a funny, cool thing to do. You can always put on a crown. There's nothing really stopping you.
I'm actually going to speed run my old lady, like, just out of here.
Speed
Let's see. Yeah. Is there a Guinness World Record for the fastest Maven to, like, leave this mortal coil?
I don't think there currently is one, but you could try. You'd be hard pressed. I think you would really have to try to run out of crowns in a one shot. You'd have to be incredibly unlucky.
Everybody says I have a dice, blessing. Maybe I can turn it into a dice curse. I can entreat the gods.
Entreat the gods to get the mind blown of a Maven. So if any of the Maven moves mention things for like day-night moves or occult moves, anything like that, if it mentions occult move, I probably wouldn't. If you want it, great, but it's probably not going to be as useful. But yeah, does anybody have any questions about Maven moves at this point?
I'm asking if this is a good idea or not. Mm-hmm. I chose one that it's not an actual move. It just adds to my presence.
Oh, that's perfectly fine.
Should I choose something else? That's fine? Okay.
No, that's 100% fine. That makes, it can make you very present?
Cool. I'll take it. Very present. Honestly, that makes sense for how I thought of her.
The stats are Vitality is your Maven's action. You use that for actions that involve strength, dexterity, endurance, athleticism, or raw physicality. Composure is the Maven's action require. If you use that for like a steady hand, calm disposition, or intense concentration, or if they're trying to avoid a fear-based reaction. Reason is if you're trying to study books, researching a problem, examining a crime scene, or otherwise engaging in mental faculty. Presence is the Maven's ability to kind of like charm someone, intimidate someone, or capture someone's imagination. A lot of this is going to be like you asking me if you can do something and be like, oh, that's interesting. It'll be like, hey, yeah, you can totally do that. That's something a normal person can do. Or if it's like, if I view it as a meddling move or a day move or a night move, be like, oh yeah, that's probably going to require a roll. What do you feel like? What kind of ability are you using? What do you bring to this? Are you trying to be intimidating? Are you trying to interpose yourself physically? And then you can kind of sell me on it and that will alter the story. So this is very much an open dialogue when it comes to like how you want to use your abilities, your granny abilities.
Reminder, what are the Crown of the Queen and the Crown of the Void again?
So Crown of the Queen, let me open up the character. They're a way to gain advantage.
Gotcha.
Or not a way, sorry. There are other ways to gain advantage. It's basically raising whatever your success or failure is to the next step. So there's failure, mixed success, and then like critical success. And it moves you up one on the chain for that. And you do it anytime. The catch is, and it's not even really a catch, is that depending on what you can choose to put on any crown that you want from the Queen's side. So basically you are going to take the reins for a second and narrate a flashback of some kind. So the ones they have there is, fondest memory of your late partner or flashback showing how you were an imperfect sister or daughter. You have to come up with the stakes and the idea for that. It doesn't have to be anything like massive. It could, just a single scene, maybe a minute or two, and maybe how that gives you, like pushes you through this moment and like helps you get that extra little bit of success that you were like trying to get.
Okay. I see.
And it's purely good for you. I do believe Crown of the Void, it starts to like, it can be interesting. It can give you something extra, but it can also take something away. So for like the Shadow of the Garden, hereafter during the cozy vignettes focused on you or cozy move scenes involving you, you must also narrate how dark entities subtly reveal themselves in the scene. So like, You have to talk about how like the shadows are moving along your walls, or there's some like grotesque figure coming into your window as you're like sewing in your night room or whatever. So some of them are fun.
Yeah, I actually the handout with the alternate Maven moves. Do you want us to stick to the ones that are in the Google Sheet, or can we pull from?
The book says never to mix and match them, but I see no reason why you can't. So if you want to, this could be a good test case.
I see how it is, using us as guinea pigs, huh?
We'll see. If it breaks the game, it'll make for good radio, I suppose.
Did you talk about cozy little places yet?
No, we haven't gotten to that one yet. I think that's the next section.
I might change depending on what the cozy little place is.
All right, we'll move on to the cozy place. Cozy place is maybe my favorite part of character creation because we all get to work together a little bit to finish this one out. We're doing character introductions in a cozy little place. Now that you all have your characters, let's introduce them. Going around the table, everybody please introduce your murder maven by name, style, cozy activity, and maven move.
So we got Latrice Warren, pronouns she, her. Their style is speed walking, so they got the fanny pack on at all times. Their cozy activity is gardening, and their maven move is Jonathan Hart. You used to live a globe-trotting, jet-set life, and you still have a touch of glamour about you that will never fade. Add +1 to your presence.
Hello, my maven is Ella Mae Bowling. They, she pronouns. Style is Alexis Carrington Kobe. So think like those like one color, think those one color, like dress outfits with the skirt and jacket that you see a lot of black women in at church with the hats as well, matching the color. And sometimes the little like, not like a huge like set piece on it, but the little like, veil's not the right word, but it has like sometimes mesh on it.
Just the,
in like stylistic
yeah.
places. Yeah, that's the word.
I know what you're talking about, yeah.
My cozy activity is charity events.
Hello, I'm Marilyn Graves. In my younger days, I used to be a songstress. People would come around to hear me sing, but these days, I'm just content to sip tea. Tea is very good for your throat, by the way. I highly recommend. I used to dabble in, loved learning about different kinds of religions. That's why my maven move is Frank Dowling. You have a strong religious background.
Yeah, I am playing Bun Bun Huang, Bunny for my close friends. Pronouns she, her. Style, this one's a little more flavor. I put Food Network fan, specifically Iron Chef. So picture an older woman with like a gray and red shirt that just says Iron Chef around it, a cardigan over it, but probably has like flour and random bits of cooking material all over her. Cozy material is, or cozy activity is going to be cooking, specifically dumplings. I'm trying to master the art of dumplings. And the maven move I chose, was Scarecrow. And this one says, at the beginning of a session, a stranger presses something into your hand or leaves something in a place where you find it. The keeper will tell you what it is. It functions as a clue, but isn't attached to a particular mystery at first, and you can choose to assign it to an active mystery whenever.
That's the first time I've seen somebody use Scarecrow. That's awesome. All right, I'll have to figure out. Now we're going to go around again and have each player describe 3 key aspects of your Maven's backstory. Number 1, their deceased partner. Number 2, their children, if any. Pets are also okay here if you don't have any kids. And then their career before they retired to Brindlewood Bay. After you tell this information, the rest of us are going to name 1 object that can be found in your Maven's home in Brindlewood Bay. You'll note these down in your section for your character sheet called the Cozy Little Place, and revising them as you wish. So how this works, you're going to describe, so Calamity, I believe, is going to go first this time. You're going to tell us about your partner, you're going to tell us about your children, and you're going to tell us about your previous career. And then each one of us, me included, are going to come up with an item that you can use during the adventure to gain advantage on a roll. To gain advantage, instead of rolling 2 dice, you can roll 3 and you take the 2 highest. And it's really any way you can fit it in. It doesn't have to necessarily, like, it's your reasoning to make it make sense. So you can go as wild with it as you want. If you want to be very boring, like say you're a sewer, be like, oh, you have like needles and thread and stuff like that. I also am a fan of introducing concepts and tropes into the cozy little place. So there's a friend of mine that runs like a kid detective version of Brindlewood Bay. So instead of old ladies, it's little kids. And one of the things, his favorite one that he's ever had is someone was like a PG-13 curse word. So like if you want to get the attention of an adult, what's the easiest way to do that is like every PG-13 movie has like one use of like fuck or something like that. This is that movie's one fuck that to get the attention of somebody or gain advantage on the roll. And I've also liked the idea of this is using it as a bit of a challenge to the players, like giving them a slightly complicated one that they have to try and figure out how to use. You don't have to be mean if you don't want to, but I really like that. It can add a really nice level of challenge. So, Calamity, if you wouldn't take it away.
So their partner is actually their best friend. Their name is Jocelyn. And they never like married. They just like said, do you want to live together? Cause it's cheaper. And then they just became or they were already besties and they just started living together because neither of them married. And doesn't have any children, has a pet cat named Boggles. I just came up.
Boggles? I like it, Boggles.
Is a calico.
Honestly, Boggles is a great calico cat name.
And before they retired, they were a therapist.
I think, and I'm not going to be mean on this one, if you're a therapist, you've probably got like a voice recorder, like one of those, what is it, a dictaphone. Those are really useful in therapy, but also extremely useful when you're trying to catch a murderer. So I think you have a little recording device.
And this goes in the a cozy little place part, right?
Yes. So it goes in the cozy little place. Who's got a good idea for what might be in their cozy place?
I'm thinking that Latrice, because of her cat Boggle, has some sort of cat toy. Maybe one of those, or no, actually, let's say you have a laser pointer that you use with Boggles from time to time.
That's a good one. I really like that.
Catnip.
Catnip.
Yeah, for the cat.
Just like a full pound baggie of catnip.
Yeah, it's just lying around the room somewhere. Wait, no. It says her cozy activities gardening. Maybe she grows it.
Yeah.
Grows her cat's drugs.
Now we're thinking we're cooking with gas here.
Ooh, seeds native to the area, you know, just like little guys you can toss around that are useful.
Yeah. You might have like those people on TikTok that have like the little wildflower seed, like shakers and stuff.
Yeah,
like that.
Exactly.
Oh, like my character likes to brew teas and stuff. So like, what if we're like friends and like I come to you for like new
Latrice has the tea
for the leaves. Oh, Latrice, your leaves have the best flavor for tea.
I know.
Building these connections. Yes. VJ, you went next? Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I'll remember.
Also, there's a list in the in the thing for you as well.
Oh, is it in the chat? I do not have chat open.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, old partner was Myron Russell. He died happy choking on a chicken bone. Had his favorite meal, finished it, and then went in for one last like little snap the marrow out the bone kind of action, and that ended with a terrible fate. They had 3 kids, Junius, Joyce, Monique, and Rain. And prior to retiring, was an event planner, mostly almost exclusively for charity events, but would charge outrageous sums for like hoity-toity individuals that like were just like, we just want an excellent party, which is why she's just kind of like, oh yeah, I've got, fun money, it's whatever. Those people, I just took all their money, it's fine. Yeah, that's my LMA. I think that's everything.
All right. Does anybody have any cozy little place ideas? I don't want to hog up the first go each time.
I'm 99% sure that LMA has a plethora of helium tanks to blow up balloons for these events that she never really got to use. And they just kind of like hoarded them, and they just have them somewhere.
Helium tanks are expensive, darling, of course.
I love that so much.
Masquerade masks, the kind you'd use in like a Venetian carnival.
The ones that I didn't use, I had them donated to the local high school when they had their masquerade ball for prom. So nice.
I was gonna say like notebooks, like always has something to write on like at hand. Just notebooks everywhere in the kitchen. In the everywhere. Just
Exactly.
Anywhere she can turn over a pencil and a notebook.
You never know when you're going to get an inspired idea. You got to keep that.
I got a concept you kind of described as a bit of like, it was like church clothes, stuff like that. I think Ellie Mae always has a cutting compliment loaded. Like a bless your heart type of deal.
Bless your heart, darling. You're so...
Yeah. So I'll be mean to VJ and give a trope or a concept.
Okay, and that's 4 from my beloved LMA bowling.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Awesome. All right, Danny.
My deceased partner, well, maybe deceased, her name was Paola Salvador. She went missing on our 10th anniversary trip to Italy. And Bun Bun still believes that she's alive, but there have been multiple...
Could be the Scarecrow.
Could be the Scarecrow. So people would say Paola is deceased, but Bunny still holds on to hope. She has 8 kids. 4 from Paola's side, and then 4 from 3 other previous marriages that Bun Bun had. And before she retired, she was the local farmers market's director. So she would make sure that all the vendors were all organized and making sure everybody had a good time every Sunday afternoon.
What is in Bunny's cozy place?
I feel bad for jumping in. Twist ties. Just so many twist ties.
Twist ties. That's such a good
That's like
one.
the first thing.
Like infinitely useful, but also like not
Twist
that
ties
useful.
everywhere.
My brain is kind of going between like those little guys that help you make like dumplings, but also part of my brain is like I feel like
little dumpling machines that never work.
Yeah, exactly.
It's always broken.
Makes them by hand, so not quite that.
True.
She just has flour, and when I say flour, I don't mean just in a bag. Like she's covered in it. She has some on her smock or apron. Has flour in her pockets. Just
You stole I was gonna do that. You stole the Chowder.
I am actually gonna go with the dumpling machine, but it was a gift from somebody who like didn't understand. It's like, actually, I don't need that, but I'm not gonna say no.
You're like perpetually trying to re-gift it, but nobody is really like, I have no use for this. Oh, now it's on me, and Chowder stole mine. Oh no. You have so many kids. I think this is going into concept territory. I think you've always got like, there's always somebody calling you. You have a convenient phone call to get out of a situation. So like a convenient family phone call. 8 kids is so many. Somebody's got to call you at some point, and especially including like potential grandchildren from that as well.
I love that I have so many twist ties, but I just keep flour in my pocket as if I couldn't twist tie some flour in a baggie.
Amazing. Pocket flour. Chowder, it is now your turn. Deceased partner.
deceased partner. Well, like I said, I used to be a songstress, lounge singer. Do you take me for some old fuddy-duddy woman in her 90s? I'm only 66. No, I used to be in a metal band. And, you know, my partner, well, we never officially hitched a knot. I had a affair in my youth with the drummer. He was a nice fellow, very strapping lad. It was the 80s and heavy metal was big, and, well, you know how people were accusing all of us of Satanism? Well, our band was Satanists, and, well, there was a curse Well, curse. Deal? Like a Faustian deal. You know, success for the band. I think the catch was we couldn't keep a drummer for more than 2 months. So, we went through a lot of drummers.
Were they all your partner?
Including my partner. He fell down the stairs one day and then caught on fire and then got ran over by a truck. And then the truck caught on fire. It was not great. So he was seeing another woman. So we never really officially got married. But, I had a pair of twins. They're off in college now. Well, no. One of them is a doctor. The other is getting their doctorates. We don't talk a lot. I was on tour a lot, so if I'm honest, I was a little neglectful. But yes, that is my life story.
Oh my God. So deceased partner, drummer, no name, may have died from murder, fell downstairs, caught on fire, hit with truck.
It could have. The father of my children could have been one of three. It could have been Drummond. It could have been Brian.
So it's a mystery. Mystery.
It could have been Gary.
You've been solving mysteries for a long time. This one is one that is eluded.
Okay, wait, and all of the possible partners are drummers who are also dead?
Yes.
You're like a Black Widow metal.
I was literally about to say there's some Black Widow shit going on here.
Well, hilarious. 2 of them were drummers. One of them was a producer. The producer's still alive. We haven't talked in a long time.
So that's you know what?
Excellent. Can I go first? I had a thought
Yes,
immediately, and I got it.
it.
Okay, awesome. You've got an old outfit in your cozy place. Specifically, it's like the mesh shirt with like the holes in certain parts of it, the white the white shorts that like the buttons go from like the bottom middle, like short shorts, bottom, middle, all the way up to the top, and mesh stockings, I think it were leg stockings probably that also have holes in them as well, and just some like really kind of dirty at this point, simple white tennis shoes. Reminder of the glory days or the existing days. Like maybe you still dress like this sometimes.
No, the way I dress, people keep thinking, oh, she was like some sort of jazz lounge singer. Nah, metalhead.
It's metal. I think Marilyn Graves has not a bucket, but what is it? A canister of gas handy. Just always around, just in case, ex-boyfriends sometimes make their way to your stairs, and there needs to you have some very accessible gas storage.
I'm debating if I want to give you, because I kind of want to give you like tell me if this is something I can't do, but like one of the exes you can always call for help. Like there's one that just like won't let go.
Maybe the producer, right? Producer's alive because producer's useful.
Like you can if you need something. Yes, the producer was useful. R.I.P. But yeah, that was my idea. Is that
number? Yep.
I'll give you a fun/toughy one that's concept wise. I think you always have the word of Satan in your back pocket, and to see if people have ever heard the good word.
It's like at the Council of Elrond where Gandalf starts speaking like the dark speech, and just the darkness comes over and the ground shakes. It's so fun. All right, and then just one thing, I think I forgot to mention this before. So when you first introduce the item for your cozy little place, you get the advantage. It can remain in the scene and you can use it for other stuff conceptually, but it only gives you advantage that one time. And there will be opportunities potentially if there is a useful item that to be picked up, you could try and pick it up and add it to your cozy place. I think now we're done with character creation. We are ready to play the game.
Thus concludes our Session 0 for Dice Populi Brindlewood Bay. Get ready to see these grannies in action in our next episode. Dice Populi is a common geeking program production, produced and edited by, with original music by, Colin Ketchen. This episode features Ryan Mossbarger as your host and Granny Master, along with VJ Harris, Danny Quatch, Calamity, Kaye, and Taeemul, Chowder, Chowdhury. Find all their links in this episode's show notes. If you enjoy the show, you can support it by joining our Patreon for access to bonus podcasts, subscribing on YouTube to boost our numbers, joining our Discord, and bringing a friend. All of this is easy to do at dicepopuli.com. So thanks for listening, and we'll see you in 2 weeks for our first proper adventure in Brindlewood Bay.
All right, if everybody is recording, let's all clap at 10 minutes even. Does everybody have the chronograph open?
Yep.
All right, we'll all clap at 10.
5 seconds.
5 seconds.
I'm so scared. Oh my gosh.
This needs to be close. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to be close.
Yeah, I'm guessing Discord just
Yeah.
It does noise canceling.
noise cancel that because I clapped. I didn't see it.
And you know what?
I clap.
I ain't editing this episode. Colin's got it. He's an expert. He can sync all this stuff up like a pro. Love you, Colin, because you're going to be listening to this like at least probably within the next week.